Hello everyone, this is Professor Robert Solis. Welcome to this next video lesson. We're going to continue talking about functions. I think we should create a function that determines the volume and the surface area of a right rectangular prism. All right, so that we provide the width, the height, and the length, and that will give us either the volume or the surface area. So I just went to Google and typed this in, and this is what I got. So that's what we want to create using C#, specifically using functions. So let me go ahead and open up Visual Studio. We're going to create a C# program. This is a Windows Form application. I'm going to double click over here and type in C#, and then we're dealing with functions, and specifically we're going to create a, well, let me see, what is this called? It's called a right rectangular prism. Okay, so right rectangular prism. All right. So while this thing opens up, I'm going to make sure that my toolbox is open because I'm going to be dragging and dropping some items. So I didn't want that. I wanted my toolbox. There we go. And let me pin that down. And I'm going to need a button, a label, and also a text box. I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to change the font type. I personally like using alphabetical. And so let me go ahead and double click on size, type in 12. That looks pretty good. All right, it looks like, according to the website, I'm supposed to provide the length, the width, and the height. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that over here. And what is the order? Length, width, height. Okay, so we'll say this is going to be the length. I'll put a text box next to that so that the user can enter the length. Let me go ahead and copy and paste these two. So Control-C, Control-V as in Victor. And then I'll do Control-V as in Victor one more time. Put this over here, and it looks like we want length, width, and height. Okay, so this is supposed to be width. And this is supposed to be height. All right, so now the user is going to be able to enter the length, the width, and the height. I'm going to have a button that says Calculate. Put that over here. So we'll say Calculate. And then I'm going to have two labels over here, one for the surface area and one for the volume. So I'll just take this guy over here, copy and paste it. I think the word surface area is longer than volume, so we'll say surface area. Put that over here like this. And I'm going to need a label over here to display what that surface area is. So I'll just take this guy over here. Once again, copy and paste, but this guy over here has to be auto size and border style fixed single. And I want this to be the same height as this guy. So source destination. I'll select the source, hold shift, select the destination, and then I'll select this guy over here and make same height. Looks good. Unselect, reselect, and now let me go ahead and make some adjustments like this. The magenta underline extends all the way to the surface area label. This is perfect. Let me go ahead and reduce this. Something like that looks pretty good. I got to get rid of the text, obviously. So I'll do that. Then I'm going to go ahead and select these two. Copy and paste. That looks good right there. But that wording has to change to volume. So I'll change the text to volume. Move this over. And I'm looking for that magenta underline. Perfect. All right, there we go. And let me go ahead and resize the form. I'm going to get rid of the minimize and the maximize box. So double click. And I'm going to call this the rectangular prism calculator. Rectangular prism calculator. All right, looks good. Looks like my word calculator got cut off here, so let me open that up. That looks good. Well, if I'm going to open that, I might as well go ahead and open all these right here. So let me select all these, and I'll resize them to about right there. Ah, that looks pretty good. Let me save my work. I don't need the text box, or I'm sorry, the toolbox anymore, but I do have to change some properties. Specifically, I'm going to change the name to txt length. This guy will be txt width. This will be txt height. btn calculate. Looks like this is going to be a label, so we'll call that LBL surface area. And then finally, we're going to have LBL volume. All right, let me save my work and double click on the button so I can start with the code area. And of course, I like to have my programs start off like this: declarations, get user input, calculation, and I'm going to put an output because I already know that that's exactly what's going to happen. Typically, I put these on 2 lines. That's all right. Let me hit enter a couple of times after this curly bracket because I want to create a function. And specifically, I'm going to create a function that returns a double. It's going to be called calculate surface area. And in order for you to calculate the surface area, you're going to need some variables. Specifically, you're going to need to know the width. Let's see, how is it order? Length, width, height. Okay, so we'll say length, parameter, the width parameter, and the height parameter. Okay, open and close curly braces. You give me these 3, and I can calculate the surface area. Well, what is the surface area? Let's go back over here, and this is volume. Let's see here. Let's go to surface area. So it looks like the surface area is 2 times, and then the multiplication of the width and the length, adding to the height and the length, adding to the height and the width, multiplied together. All right, so let's go ahead and type this in. So it looks like it's going to be returning 2.0 times, let me put an open and close parens and put my cursor right back in there. Looks like it's going to be the width times the length, so the width parameter times the length parameter, plus the height times the length, so the height parameter times the length, length parameter, plus the height times the width. Okay, so the height parameter times the width parameter. All right, so this is going to be returned once the user calls this particular function. Not the user, but the programmer is designing this so that we can call it to calculate the surface area. We need to do something similar to the volume. So we'll say calculate volume. And once again, I'm going to call all these, or I'm going to send these as parameters. So I might as well just go ahead and copy and paste, Control C, Control V as in Victor. I need those items, open and close curly braces. And let's go over here to determine what the volume is of a right rectangular prism. So it's just simply the width times the height times the length. Okay, so let's return the width times the height times the length. All right, so I have my 2 functions that I call when I want to calculate either the surface area or the volume. So in terms of declarations, let's go ahead and determine what we need. Well, first of all, the user is going to give us the length, the width, and the height. So I will say double width, double length, double height. All right, so I've got those from the user. Now I can go ahead and, well, I should say I declared these variables. Now I have to get them from the user. These are text boxes, so I'm going to have to convert to double. So we'll say this. We'll say the width is going to be convert dot to double, open and close parens. What am I getting this from? I'm getting from a text box, specifically where I'm going to be getting the width, the text property specifically, converting that to a double, and then putting that into the width, which is a double. Let's do the same thing with length. So convert dot to double, txt length dot text. And then finally, we're going to do that with the height. Convert dot to double, txt height dot text. I've just obtained all the data from the user, so now I can display the contents on these 2 labels down here. So LBL let's do surface area first. .text. All right, these are numbers. These are specifically doubles that are going to be sent to the various functions that are going to return doubles. So I better convert to string. And then I can call calculate surface area, open and close parens. Let me go right back over here. It looks like I need to send you the length, the width, and the height. So I'm going to send you the length, the width, and also the height. They put a semicolon after this. All right, there we go. So we're calling that function, converting into a string, putting that into the text property for this LBL surface area. LBL volume.text, we're going to convert to string. This time we're going to call calculate volume. And let me open parens. I need to send you the length, the width, and the height. Okay, so I'm going to send you the length, the width, and also the height. And let me put a semicolon after that. I'm going to call this function, which is going to return a double, and then I'm going to convert that into a string, which is going to put that into the text property of this particular label. All right, let me save my work, run the program, and let me type in the numbers 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like the answer is 52 and 24. Let's see. So let me type in 2, 3, and 4. Yep, volume's 24. Is that what we got? Volume is 24. Now let's see what it is for the surface area. And I'll enter 2, 3, and 4. Looks like it's 52. Is that what we got? Yep, we got 52. Fantastic. Let me close the program, go back over here to the code. And of course, if I type in real numbers, that is numbers with a decimal point, like 2.5, to 3.6 and 4.7, say for example. Well, we're going to get a number with a certain number of significant digits after the decimal point. And what if you want to control that? Well, if you wanted to control that, and if you want to control the number of decimal points, the number of digits rather, after the decimal point, then this is what you would do. First of all, let me comment this out, and then I'm going to copy this. Because I'm just going to make a slight modification and use the toString function. So copy, paste, let me get rid of these comments. Specifically, I'm not going to convert to string. I'm not going to do that over here either. So therefore, I don't need this outer parens, nor do I need this outer parens. Instead, I'm going to call this function, which is going to return a double. Right? That's what that double right there refers to. Dot toString. Specifically, I'm going to make it so that I only want 2 numbers after the decimal point. So the .toString allows you to do formatting. And in this case, I want a fixed number of digits after the decimal point, specifically 2 of them. I'm going to do the same thing over here. .toString, quote, F2, close quote. And now let's see what happens. So let me save my work, start the program. And let's see here, what about 2.34, 3.45, 4.56, say for example. And so no matter how many significant digits that are generated by this program, we are asking for only 2 of them after the decimal point. And that's why you see 2 numbers after the decimal point for this particular calculation. And that's it. So this is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this video lesson was helpful. Have a good day. See you next time.